I'm going super off the cuff today.
Get away from me!
Hello everyone, and welcome to Social Distance Cinema Discussion Episode 8. This week we watched The Florida Project, a movie recommended to us by Austin Stack Mueller. I would thank him, but I still don't really quite know how I feel about this movie. Yes, he's my cousin, but I assure you there is no biases. And if you want your movies to be chosen, maybe start choosing better movies. I'm not even the best person in this group to be talking about this movie or the director, but I'm all you have, so deal with it. Anytime we play B-roll involving Willem Dafoe, I'm just gonna throw Green Goblin lines on him, so enjoy that, I guess.
Yeah, it's good.
Downplay the innocent with me.
There's a lot of thinking that goes into filmmaking that most of us aren't even aware of. For one, color palette. You may be wondering why my lighting setup is a bit saturated today, and that's because Dave pointed out that he really liked the color palette in the movie. That's for you, Dave. Here's a question for you. When you see these colors, this blue and that pink, what is the first thing that comes to your head? To me, the first thing that comes to mind is a gender reveal party. A new weird custom where parents, looking for an excuse to party, decide that people give a crap about what gender their baby will be. All throughout our lives, media and culture have pushed us to believe that pink means baby girl and blue means baby boy. The director, Sean Baker, really wanted this to be about the kids, so he took influence from a lot of older movies.
Well, we went back, we watched many films, many of the classic films about children. We just wanted to watch again to see exactly what's considered the best of child performances throughout the history of cinema. So we looked at Punette, Small Change, even A Christmas Story. Just recently, Bruno Dumont's Petit Cancan. That had a very much of an influence on this film.
I know what you're thinking. Isn't it bullshit that he didn't talk about The Sandlot or The Goonies? Yeah, I agree. But his focus on the children is where I think the color palette is coming from. They knew they wanted to be somewhere around Disney World for authenticity, so before I started filmmaking, I would have just assumed that they found this location and whatever color it was happened to be whatever they were going to shoot with. But that's kind of not how it works. At some point, probably far before the location scouting, the cinematographer and the director probably sat down, went over the piece, and decided what colors they wanted. Since children were involved heavily, they probably started to have a conversation about what colors match for a childlike feeling. Pink and blue. Next, they probably had to find an old, dilapidated motel in or around Disney World. The Florida Project was shot on location, but the location itself isn't incredibly specific. I think it's probably fair to assume that they weren't looking for a pink motel, but when they found it, they were like, holy shit. Then after that, closer to shooting date, they find clothing and other things that match the palette of the piece.
I surrender!
You got your
Power.
back.
Working with children, especially around this age range, can be like walking on eggshells. In a lot of movies, you see preteens and you see infants, but you never really see anywhere from between 6 to 12. And the director goes into some of the difficulties with working with that age range.
I needed an acting coach to be there with the kids, to really get them to a place where they understood character, understood the scenes. They had to learn their lines. That was something that I thought I was going in there saying, maybe with kids trying to get really authentic child performances, I only want them to learn the lines just like halfway. But no, I learned the hard way that you cannot do that. Blocking is very different with children. You got to actually go over there and hand-hold them through it. They usually lose their focus or energy by around the third take.
When working with children in movies and TV shows, it's important to pay a lot of attention to casting because children tend not to be the best at acting just because they don't have a lot of life experience. The industry tries to work around this by not giving children many lines in general. And now that I've drawn attention to it, you'll probably notice it in every freaking thing you watch with a child. It's a unique challenge for directors to pull performances out of children. Last year, Macular Media challenged themselves to make a movie devoid of any dialogue, so we figured it was probably great for a child. That movie can be found right here, if I figure out how YouTube works ever. Directing her was sometimes easy and sometimes difficult. I was lucky enough to have a family member on set with me to help pull those emotions out of her.
It's $38 a night. Well, we're here all night. Yep. Alrighty, thanks a lot.
Okay. I warned you, one drip and you're out.
Come on!
Bit of a slob, isn't he?
Bobby.
At heart, the soul of the piece lies around just how close these kids are to having the time of their lives, but being in such a crappy situation. As many of you pointed out, the movie feels like a slice of life, and the location plays a large part in that. But there's also more to it than that. Remember those shots where the mom and the daughter were selling perfume to people? Those were all real pedestrians, apparently. And there's that one scene where Kevin Spacey sneaks on set and tries to prey on those children.
Hi, kids.
Okay, I'm gonna play.
Are you having fun?
Isn't that unstable?
He's not looking too hot, and I don't feel bad for him. And there's one more thing I wanted to talk about. How much I respect this director for his take on filmmaking.
We're living in a time where you don't have to wait. And that's my advice. Don't wait. You have to prove to the industry that you're worthy. And now the tools are out there for you to make a film. You can make a film on your phone. You can make a feature and put it out there, and film goers and critics will take it serious. The platforms are there. You can put your stuff up on Vimeo. You can put your stuff up on YouTube. You can get it out there. And that's what I suggest you do.
As someone lower down on the totem pole, I think it's important to empathize with that. This whole company was started with the belief that with enough determination and practicality, you can pretty much make anything you want. And we all have a lot of free time on our hands right now, so here's my challenge to you guys. Send us in something. Anything. You have a hot take about the movie we just watched? Send it in. I'll throw it in one of our videos. You want to make a narrative short in your own apartment? Send it in. I'll highlight it in a video. You want to do a documentary about the life of your pet? Send it in. Might be bad, but I'll highlight it in a video. These days, anyone can be a filmmaker. Keep an eye out on social media and Discord for the next movie. I have a whole list of them written out now, so it's going to be hard to mess this up. I like being a clown for you guys, but part of the fun of being a clown is making sure you guys are laughing. I have this weird feeling that these are starting to get tedious or maybe boring for you, almost like a chore. So let me know if that's the case. Give me some feedback in the comments below, and we can try to work on some things, maybe fix this process up a little bit. Stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully I'll see you next week.